episode 3 of the Bentley and Maniwa Variety Show. I am Pro Wrestling's BFF Nick Maniwa, and he is...
I'm the other guy.
He is the B of the B&M.
It does not stand for bitch or bee's knees.
It could, though. He can be replaced. The M is forever.
I'm, as always, Reed by God Bentley, as I'm sometimes known as of late.
Are you cutthroat?
I am cutthroat.
Are you deep throat, as someone called you?
I am not deep throat Reed Bentley. I mean, I don't get down that way. Not that there's anything wrong. Like my good friend Malachi Matthews, he's recently come out of the closet. I'm in total support of, hashtag no hate. We've got bee's knees sitting over here in the corner while we record this, and so she's well known for liking boobs.
So Malachi is Mr. No Gaze Off.
Yeah, I see what you've done. I'm aware of you.
She is a fan of boobs. Are you talking about Malachi's man boobs?
Yes, I'm talking about Malachi.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, Malachi, I'll be honest, my green children, Jeffrey O'Shea and Malachi Matthews, have gotten themselves in some respectable shape here lately, so shout out.
Malachi is in that Reed Bentley 2010 shape right now.
He's a little bit better than that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's got, his arms are real big right now. He's looking pretty good. He's got some spiffy new gear.
Good for those tank tops that, he wears.
Yeah, all the time.
People like him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with tank tops. Let's not get into a personal attack this quick into the show.
We got a buttload of questions, but yeah. we're gonna take our time getting into those. We're gonna talk about our weekend. Me and Bees Knees went to Destination One Wrestling in Charlestown, Indiana.
A delight, as always, I'm sure.
Actually, my first show in almost a year. I hadn't been there since September 2nd of last year.
Really?
Whenever the last show was when we went
I guess it's because we're in that building so much because everyone and their mother runs wrestling there.
The last show is when we went to the Rustic Frog afterwards.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? For your birthday.
Something happened in the ring, and I started smacking on the table, saying, "Fuck this! Fuck you! Fuck this segment right now!" And
what was that?
It was people dancing in the ring after a match. They all hugged and danced because that's what you do after a physical contest.
Very similar to that UWA show where the main event heel came out for a dance contest at intermission.
Right.
Yeah, stupid.
But anyway, back to Destination One Wrestling. It was their second iPay-per-view on highspots.tv. My good friend Jake Manning was there, making sure everything ran smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
There was some good stuff on the show. There was some not so good stuff on the show. Madman Pondo and Ron Mathis tore it up.
Well, yeah, without a doubt.
And Pondo busted out the old school, which Charlene McNally said that he could not do. Old school being the Undertaker walk on the ropes. Sometimes Pondo turns it into an arm drag. He just did the regular old school. And he looked at me in the crowd and dedicated the move to me afterwards. But him and Mathis tore it up. They did, crazy weapons. Not too crazy, but, cinder blocks, stop signs, stuff like that. It was really fucking good, to be honest.
Davey wasn't there. I heard he canceled off earlier in the week because there had been like a double booking or something like that. And
typical Davey,
Chance Prophet replaced him, right?
Chance Prophet replaced him, but all of Davey's guys were there.
Okay.
Travis Banks had a really good match with Aaron Williams to open the show. Travis Banks from New Zealand.
As I say, he's the New Zealand guy.
He's been in 0-1. He's done a lot of stuff. He's really fucking good. I need to stop cursing so much. He had a good match with Christian Rose at the AEW charity show a couple weeks back.
Yeah, Christian Rose is fine. He's okay.
Darren Dean and Aaron Solo were there. Their match was against Anthony Lee, and I don't know what the other guy's name was. He was a giant black man who was had something scribbled on his chest. He might have had face paint on.
Fake Mala?
Yeah, it was something like that. They tried as hard as they could, but that match was just not good at all.
Yeah, I like Darren Dean and Aaron Solo. I wrestled them at D1. Was it last year? Yeah, it had to be 2012 because I've only done a couple of shows there.
Maybe earlier this year.
Was it early this
year?
Me and former IWA official turned pro wrestler Kyle Maverick. Wrestled them. Really fun. I mean, you can't knock dudes like Dean and Solo, like coming all the way from California, moving to St. Louis to train with Davey, you know, and they definitely get out there, you know, they go to, you know, they don't just go to the shows Davey's on,
right.
You know, like they definitely get out there. I see them all the time, so really good dudes. D1 though, who else was there? Tommy Dreamer?
Tommy Dreamer was there. He did battle with Mitch Johnson.
Yeah.
Of Mitch Johnson fame.
Uh-huh.
You know, paint by numbers Tommy Dreamer match, but the fans were eating it up.
Yeah.
And Tommy couldn't be a nicer guy.
I'm really surprised he was there because I heard one of his daughters is in the hospital.
Yeah, I think she was sick or something like that.
I was kind of thinking he might end up, you know, like pulling out on him, but, you know, that's cool that he still pulled through.
He was a professional and did make the show. Super nice guy. Got a picture with him, got to chat with him a little bit. He did a seminar. The turnout wasn't, I don't know if they even want this out, but the turnout wasn't what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
There was only a few people there, and he ended up not charging the people for the seminar.
That's awesome.
So, you know, just the total class act. If you want to bring someone in that's a former TNA, WWE, ECW name, Tommy Dreamer is like freaking awesome.
Yeah, which, speaking of, this Friday, Mendota, Illinois, Dreamwave Wrestling has not just Tommy Dreamer, but Rhino as well. It's kind of like a
D1W alumni, because Rhino just did
D1W alum Rhino, RHYNO, Rhino, the different one, and they'll both be there for Extreme Measures for Dreamwave Wrestling.
Tracy Smothers was in the house. You cannot say
team
enough,
best dude.
Yeah, you cannot say enough good words about Tracy Smothers. Like, I've seen that guy wrestle since he started coming around. I probably saw him before, but I remember him coming around IWA in '96. Always turning it up, and you know, just an awesome dude to see. Reed Bentley is blowing its nose at the moment.
I mean, I tried to do it incognito, but, you know, whatever, you can call me out.
I cannot do it Hunako either.
Oh, I cannot do it Masquerita Dorada either.
But yeah, Tracy was like, "Hey man, how old are you now?" And I was like 24, and he's like, "Man, am I getting old?" Because I had been around shows that he was on since I was 8 years old. So, and he won the D1W heavyweight title.
Fantastic. D1W World? No. They didn't announce it as world title?
They probably did, but it's not the world title.
Yeah. No.
He beat Lennox Norris and Isaiah in a three-way.
Lennox Norris may be getting ready to make the jump, you know, now that he's, you know, free of the strap. You never know.
His contract did expire at D1W, so he might be. You never know. He could go back home to OVW, could end up at another promotion, could end up at UWA for all we know. You never know.
This crazy Kentuckiana wrestling scene, folks.
I'm trying to think of some other, Jess, anything else on D1W?
Nah.
Kyle Maverick and Cryptic Keegan had probably one of Kyle Maverick's best matches that he's had. He had a good one with Jake Manning at EPW a couple months ago that no one's seen because EPW just doesn't tape their shows. Yeah. Because why would you, running an indie wrestling company?
Yeah. I mean, like, I know myself at least, I would very much like to spend my hard-earned money to put a wrestling show on that no one will ever see short of the 8 people that are there in attendance live.
But, you know, that was pretty much our weekend. We had Euros the next day, and that was so good.
You're such a bastard.
And I got my wedding attire squared away, so I know what I'm going to be wearing. Got it all half paid off and all that stuff. Jess, what else did we do? Anything? We watched more of Orange is the New Black, which is an awesome TV show that I'm sure everyone's finished by now. We're just on like episode 7, so
I keep hearing good things.
You haven't watched it?
I have not. I've not watched anything, but it's of course all over my Tumblr dashboard.
Right.
My weekend, as far as it was all Dreamwave pretty much. We did EPW on Thursday, which was the start of it. I then drove to...
You stayed undefeated at EPW against Jordan Cage.
This is true. I'm now 4-0 at the illustrious EP dub. And then Friday I wrestled aforementioned Malachi Matthews in, I believe it's Tonica, but I was yelling Tunica at the fans and making fish jokes. And it was fun. It was a good little match.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, Tunica.
Yeah.
And I got on the mic and pulled out all the Memphis wrestling I could. I came to the ring. The thing is, shows like these are awesome because both Tunica and Utica were very small towns, and these were like town day shows, like, oh, it's Utica days or it's Tunica days. And so Main Street is shut down. The ring is literally in the middle of the street. On Friday, our locker room was a True Value hardware store.
Oh.
So obviously they have no idea about the carny reputation of wrestlers because they just left their store unmanned.
Well, that's stupid on their part.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be
I'm
surprised.
an honest human being, like.
I'll be surprised if a hammer did not walk out the door.
Yeah, there was people looking, at like air filters, like seeing if they would, air conditioning filters and whatnot. I myself, before I went to the ring, grabbed a fly swatter and a multi-head screwdriver to defend myself on the way to the ring because these looked like some terribly low-class people. So I came out swinging the fly swatter.
How many people there?
A couple hundred probably. I'd say 200 or 300. It was like a decent little. The town, as far as I heard, is only 700 people in total.
Oh wow! So they could have all been there.
Yeah, easily. They could have all been there. There's only like 3 police, like 3 cops in the whole town, and they were all there. So it would have been a great time to rob and loot the town. Is there any
police dogs?
No, there were
no dogs.
No dogs. And so I come out, and as soon as the match is over, I go and get my fly swatter back from Jay Repsol at commentary and grab the mic and start screaming that no one had better come to Utica tomorrow because if they do, I will be so angry. I'll smack every one of them in the face with my fly swatter if anyone comes to Utica. And then the next night in Utica, there were at least 15 people on my entrance who were screaming, "Where's your fly swatter at?" Making, plenty of references about the night before. And then that night, in Utica, our locker room was a super nice studio apartment. Like,
was Cole Cabana there?
He was not in the studio apartment. It was, I guess apparently what happened in Utica is the whole town got, like, laid to waste by a tornado.
Oh, really?
And everything's been rebuilt, so, like, the town's super nice now. The guy that hired us to come in for the festival, he owns a bar that has the studio apartment above it. He let us use that as his locker room. It was super nice, like, a bed, recliners, like, a bathroom that was almost as big as the rest of the apartment. It was, so nice. So it was really awesome of him. Apparently, we more than did our job, and we've already been asked back for next year, Dreamwave Wrestling has. So it was fun. We brawled in the streets. I threw Christian Rose into a stop sign. I opened up someone's cooler at the festival and stole a bologna sandwich out of a Ziploc bag and shoved it down his throat. He forced me into a porta potty.
I heard about that.
It was really fun. He
did not tip it though.
He didn't. If he would have tipped it, our friendship would have immediately. It would have been eradicated. So it was definitely a good weekend.
Maybe next time in that town, wrestle Malachi Matthews, put him in the porta potty. Tip it.
Yes, we can tip it over. Well, we can't. What with his recent announcement, that could be misconstrued as a hate crime. Yes, donut. And that was pretty much my weekend. I don't honestly even recall. I slept most of Sunday.
Which is rare.
Yeah, I do not sleep, so that was very nice. That was pretty much it.
Kick-Ass 2?
No, I was gonna go watch Kick-Ass 2, and unfortunately, the town that Christian Rose and Matthew Thaddeus Cage live in, Robinson, Illinois, has like a 5-showing theater, and like a 5-movie showing theater, and Kick-Ass 2 was not one of them.
Not one of the 5s?
No, it was like Plains 3D.
Bridges of Madison County?
Yeah. Elizabethtown, Sweet Home, Alabama.
The Notebook, which Cage and Rose had requested again.
Yeah. And, also, funny story of my weekend at least, was we had a press conference for Dreamwave Wrestling on Saturday, hyping the Mendota show with Rhino and Tommy Dreamer I was just talking about. So we went to Mendota at like 10:30 in the morning Saturday. And it was a decent little turnout. I don't know how many people are in that town, but some people showed up, came to ask us questions, like, and it basically turned into the Reed Bentley and Matt Cage Attack What Fans Are There show. There was some, apparently, as we were told, over-the-line comments about some of the fans there.
Oh.
Because we started calling this one girl Bootleg and Frank. I said that there's no doubt a chapter of the Aryan Brotherhood in this town looking for you right now. Matt Cage told her to go get back in the attic.
That's you're offending me, and I don't get offended. That is over the line. You're TNA crossing the line right now.
Oh, I don't want to ever be that. I don't want to ever be that. Well, see, the thing is, this woman, one of Alex Castle's better quotes ever, was, I've got a question for Anne Frank over here, as she's been called. First of all, how dare you wear socks with sandals? What are you doing? And pointed out that this woman was wearing leather.
He asked the lady.
Yes. And
I was confused by your wording.
Yeah.
I thought, I got you now.
And she immediately responded with a garbled response.
How do you respond if everyone can look and see that she's wearing sandals with socks?
She says, first of all, it's none of your business, and second of all, these are my body. These are my body, was her response. And she pulls her sandal off, and then proceeds to pull her very Socko-esque looking sock off and put it on her arm like Mr. Socko.
And went after him.
No,
man.
She stayed in her seat. But we started pointing out how dirty it was. Like, it looked like she was walking around. These socks had never been washed.
You're just adding insult to injury now. You had already called her out for looking like Anne Frank. And then you called her out for her socks and sandals. And now you're like, oh, look at that sock that we already called out. It's dirty.
Yeah, she started, sock puppeting with it. And then she continued to come up to us after the press conference when we were all signing posters and autographs. And, I made some comment to her. I threatened to beat her physically. I had my chair in my hand because she was coming way too close to me. And she said, well, you haven't even seen the satanic cult in town yet. And
she's probably the founding member, and you guys fucked up.
Well, we responded with, you guys worship Satan. And
Satin. They're a big fan of Satin.
Yeah, she's a big fan of Satin. And she said, no, actually, this look I'm wearing today is goth. And
this is fake. You're fucking making it up.
I grabbed the microphone, even though the press conference was over, and screamed goth, just making its way to Mendota here in 2013.
She's like those blogs on Tumblr that post goth after just random pictures.
Yeah, or like metal, Right. Yeah, it's just
soft grunge.
Yeah, she was staying very metal that day. She was fucking YOLO swag soft grunge.
So I just want to send my condolences to everyone that was at that press conference on the stage addressing Anne Frank, because they're all gonna die this weekend in Mendota because she's going to come back with her cult and with pitchforks, and she's going to kill every single one of you. So I'll be looking for a new B for the Bentley and Maniwa variety show. Alex Castle is gone. Who else? Matt Cage. So the Daywalkers are dead, literally.
Vic Capri was there with us.
Yeah, he's guilty by association.
Yeah, he was very much guilty by association. It was basically me, Vic, and Matt Cage curled up, like, on the end of the table, dying, laughing at, like, all these ridiculous things.
That's absurd.
Cage then goes into the audience with the microphone and starts asking them questions because they weren't asking questions, and it goes up to one guy, and he says, I don't have any questions for you. I've got a question for Not So Great Muda over here, and points out Chris Castro, to which I just threw my chair and got up and wanted to leave.
The guy said that?
He called Chris Castro the Not So Great Muda.
I've only seen him
Well, see, when he started out at Dreamwave, he had this like very Muda-esque face paint, and he was like doing
so the guy knows who he is, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like he did like a Samoan gimmick.
Right. Okay, I remember seeing pictures of that. I didn't realize that was the same guy.
Yeah. That's Castro, who also shout out to Chris Castro, has dropped like 30 pounds in a month and is looking like super good. He's looking real slim and trim.
Is he?
Yeah, he's looking real good. I guess
he kind of had like a Samoa Joe build before.
A little bit. He kind of still does. He kind of has like good Samoa Joe build.
Right,
You know, like
gotcha.
yeah,
like 04.
like 04, 05 Samoa. Right. Yeah, and
when he cared.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, Samoa Joe.
yeah,
that was Reed Bentley saying that.
No, that was Nick Maniwa.
Actually, that was Just Beats Me saying it.
Yeah, you can find her at. Never mind, I'm not going to say their address. But yeah, I guess he's doing like a weight loss competition or something. He's up to like, I think the competition is for $50,000 or something that. And I think it ends in October, he was telling me, when we were having Intercontinental Title Championship ladder match breakfast. So yeah, good job, Chris Castro. You're looking like $1 million, man.
Kudos to you, man.
But yeah, it was ridiculous. I could honestly go on. There were so many inside jokes worked in. The press conference honestly turned into the roast of Christian Rose because it was all of us just burying him as we're known to do. But yeah, it was a great weekend for sure. I definitely had an enjoyable experience in Northern Illinois.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good weekends. And you're around some fun people. You're around Megzuke Office.
Yes, I'm around Megske often, who is fantastic. If you don't follow Megske Office on Twitter.
Megzuke?
Megske. Yeah, Megsuke. Meg Bazooka.
As Vince McMahon called Great... Or no, Jim Ross was the one that said Great Suzuki.
Yeah, Great Suzuki. So follow Meg Suzuki. Megske Office on social media. She is one of our dearest friends.
She actually has a plug later, but...
Yeah, it's
she
whatever.
Can have a plug now.
Yeah, I plugged her early. That's...
Whoa. Pause.
Cut, Tom Green, cut right now, and we'll splice all this out.
He's not going to edit.
I know, this won't be edited.
No.
You're hearing all the words I'm saying right now. I think we can pretty much move on to questions now, I think. Oh, I took up enough time with my ridiculous weekend.
Okay, we have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, where do we want to start?
We kind of...
We can go for, like, the deathmatch stuff, because there's, like, one for you, one for me.
Right.
One of our first questions...
This is from Lane Smith on Twitter, at Lane Smith with an underscore at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
He's a big supporter of our podcast, listens to every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we've only had 2.
Yeah, but still, that's 100%.
He always sends us feedback, so props to him. He wanted to know what made Reed want to do death matches. And as Reed's travel partner for that weekend, I can quite honestly say it was so-and-so didn't show up. And your opponent didn't show up. You're in the tournament, kid.
Yeah, that was pretty much what it was. He's referencing the 2011 King of the Death Matches, which was my first. Well, technically it was not my first. I was involved in, a death match at aforementioned SHW that I can get into at some point. It was like a big 8-man thing, so it was not more of a hardcore match than a death match, but there were light tubes and salt and stupid things like that.
Your first pro death match.
Yeah, my first real honest...
Your first pro IWA match as well. Your debut as a pro in IWA.
Yes, my debut as not on a tryout show.
Right.
At IWA. Which
we'll get into much later.
Yeah.
We'll eventually do the history of Reed Bentley and Nick Maniwa.
Yeah, definitely. Which, I mean, it's just going to take years. It will take 20 years to do our history because we have seen a lot in our days, folks. But yeah, 2011 King of the Death Matches was honestly awesome. Like, back when it happened, I thought that honestly could have been the turnaround that IWA needed. Like, the turnout wasn't necessarily huge. It was like, 60 and 80, I think, both nights. But the show, like, top to bottom was really good. Like, it was really solid.
Tremont, Masada, I mean...
Yeah. Devin,
Marcus Crane, the Hooligans.
Yeah.
Just so many people. Plus you had BJ Whitmer, Bucky Collins tearing it up.
Yeah, wasn't night 2 like Masada and BJ?
Masada and BJ.
Yeah, which like I was really excited to see. I think we left
right after that match.
Yeah, as soon as it ended, we stayed just to see that. Yeah, it was a really good show, top to bottom. It was a great weekend, but it didn't end up being quite the time for IWA to pick back up.
It was in Bellevue.
Yeah, it was still in Bellevue.
So I mean, you can't do much of anything in that town.
It's where Simon Says was lacerated in the neck to near horror movie levels.
On the commentary, I'm just like shouting, like he looks like a stabbing victim.
Yeah, he was. I think you were screaming, "He's fucking dead."
Yeah,
he's fucking dead.
It was insane. And he kept going. He put on like a really good match with Damian Payne, who was making his IWA debut.
Who was that was his first foray into death matches, I think, and he's continued, or he might have had a couple before that, but that was kind of his like.
He's done like Carnage Cup since then. He's in the one coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up.
But a funny moment is I'm walking to the back. I'm doing commentary, trying to get notes, trying to get a lineup probably, and BJ Whitmer's hanging out, and he's like, "Whoa, what's Bentley doing?" And I just nonchalantly say, "Oh, he's in the table match." He's like, "What?" I was like, "He's doing the tables match with Mondo, Rory Mondo," and he was like, "Bentley's in the tournament," and I was like, "Yeah."
And he just turns and looks at me and, "What the fuck? Reed Bentley in the king of the death matches? Okay." He was just blown away.
And after Bentley's match, he crawled to the locker room, and on the DVD you can see BJ Whitmer giving him a standing ovation. Let's talk about your first foray into first wrestling Rory Mondo, who had never worked IWA before.
No.
And into professional death matching.
It was the first time I had met Mondo. But I'd seen a little bit of his stuff at CZW.
And this was like when Mondo was still kind of rusty. He was like still kind of like
not kind of. Yeah, it was like he was super green at that point. But I thought we put together like a fun little match. Like we had some cool spots. I thought he went to Japan shortly right after that, which is like a really notorious trip for him when he was tagging with Devin Moore and they were wrestling a lot of the Japanese dudes over there for Big Japan. So it was, I was green myself. Like I'd only been wrestling for, a year and a half at that point, and you couldn't even really call it a year and a half because that was right when I started doing good shows, was the end of 2011. Everything before that was just, might as well have been backyard wrestling, just in front of paying fans.
Right.
But yeah, it was really fun for me. We've said multiple times, like, I'm a huge proponent of death matches. Like, I love all wrestling.
I do. If you want to do death matches, you should get blood tests and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure you're totally clean, but I
Be
am
safe,
a fan.
know who you're working with, don't just step in the ring and bleed for anyone that's willing to give you $50 extra. But, I enjoy doing death matches. One of my most favorite matches that I've had was me and Crazy Mary Dobson at 7 Deadly Sins last year, December of 2012.
For Chaos Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, for Chaos Pro out in Metropolis.
Which you can find that match.
It's on SmartMark.
On SmartMark, VOD.com, and
is there sale still going on right now? They had that, like, a really good sale going on this week, and I know a lot of people are, like, scooping up loads of DVDs.
I think their sale might be off.
Okay.
But if you want to just buy the single match, I think Chaos Pro might have that available.
Yeah, you can buy it through the Chaos Pro
for
site.
For like $2, so if you want to check that out. But, not only, you had that match with Mondo, you had a really fun 6-man tag with just the most random assortment of dudes.
It was like, there was me, Devin Cutter, Neil Diamond Cutter, Joey Grunge, Damian Payne.
And Jimmy Felcher.
Yeah, it was a 6-man tag. It was my first, that was my first weekend, I think, meeting the Hooligans, who, like, I hit it off with. Like, I love Devin and Mason. I haven't seen Neil Diamond Cutter in forever. He's moved out west from what I heard, and I don't think he's wrestling anymore. But it was really fun, really hard-hitting.
It only went like 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
it was a sprint, but it was super solid. Neil Diamond jumped off this sketchy-ass fucking, what was it, a scaffold or something?
Yeah, like a huge painter's scaffold.
It was like chained to the wall or something.
Yeah, you've got to imagine if you've ever watched any of the shows from that time period of IWA, you can see it leaning against the wall back there.
Like every show.
Yeah, and it's literally leaning. It's on 2 wheels, and it's as tall almost as this gymnasium. So you got to think it was, what, 15 at least 15 feet up in the air.
Plus, you put him on top of it.
Yeah, and then he dove off with the prettiest, most, effortless crossbody. Me and Neil Diamond Cutter were headbutting each other, and I busted myself back open. I busted my cut from the night before.
You kicked Joey Grudge right in the face.
Yeah, I kicked him unnecessarily hard, like on a boot on the floor. It was just I was doing this jumping Joshi bitch kick for a while, and it was just, it was the first thing I did to Matt Cage when I met him wrestling for the IPW Autism show. It was go to lock up, stop, do the big show, which at the time was a huge inside joke of the all-you-can-eat show.
Right.
And this was the first time I'd met, actually today, the day we're recording this, 8/27, is the 2-year anniversary of that show, of when I met Matt Cage and Alex Kassius.
Which has never been released commercially on DVD.
Ever.
There's a fan cam and one hard cam shot that just came out like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah. So happy friendiversary, Kentucky Buffet.
Yeah, I had met Matt Cage before. I had never met Alex Castle, because that was our first time meeting him too. I had never met Alex Castle, and I had became better friends with Matt Cage since the first time I had met him in Litchfield, Illinois, for IWA Mid-South. He tagged with Blake Steele.
Who is, yeah. And moving on, though, to...
no, but I just want to... there's another Joey Grudge tidbit.
Oh, Lord.
I asked Joey, as I did often with your opponents, what do you think of the match? To get any feedback that they might not give you.
Yeah.
And he goes, that motherfucker kicked me in my teeth. He just straight kicked me in the teeth as hard as he could. That was his only feedback.
Yeah, that was, I mean, hey, it happens. Wrestling is teeth kick.
Right.
And, it was like we said, that was a really good overall weekend. The shows are awesome. It was my first professional death match, and I enjoyed it. I don't mind death matches at all. I really, when they're done well, I love them, and I have fun doing them. So hopefully I will get my at least yearly match.
You want to have the John Moxley flow of this dude in anything and he can do it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's what anyone should aspire for, and that's what I try to do.
Or Drake Younger.
Yeah, Drake. I want to be very pliable. I want anyone who wants to book me to wrestle to be able to put me in any environment and be able to, perform. So, death matches, I feel, are definitely one of them. I enjoy them. Maybe I'm a bit of a sadist, but I really like, the element that it adds to a match. It's Saturday in Utica. The minute I saw that we had a multitude of things on the outside of the ring that we could do, I immediately, all right, let's go outside. Let's do some fun stuff. So for me, it's fun. I don't know. There's a lot of critics of it, but we're definitely not one of them.
Right. We got some questions about TPI, but I think we're going to save all the TPI stuff for a TPI-based podcast.
Yeah, do like an all TPI, hopefully like a couple of weeks, maybe next week, or because we're only 3 weeks away.
Right.
Less than 3 weeks
maybe
away.
Next week we'll do the TPI.
Give you guys a couple of weeks to stew on it.
That way we can do Mikey King, VA Gent Mike on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Dangerously, also known as.
Formerly known as Mike Kipps.
Yeah. He asked for our dream TPI of all time, which I don't know if he means, unlimited budget and if we could bring Reckless Youth out of retirement against Chris Hero.
Yeah.
I don't. He sent me the guidelines, and it was you can have 6 Ring of Honor guys, 6 Dragon Gate guys, but he never said can we bring back.
Yeah. If we can go back in time of any.
If we can pick people in their prime.
Yeah.
From the Indies, from 2002 when it became TPI, I think that would be good. 2002 to 2008, all the actual TPIs.
Yeah, all the actual people who participated. That's kind of what I was thinking.
That'd be cool because that's a shit ton of guys.
Yeah, and if you look back to if you've never watched TPI 2004,
Ron Trauma just put on Twitter a couple of days ago. He had never seen it. He had seen 2002, 2003, never seen 04. People call that the best indie wrestling tournament of all time, just from the name, the name power alone. Austin Aries, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson. I mean, you can name literally anyone. Nigel McGuinness, BJ Whitmer.
What was the finals? The finals was Joe,
AJ Styles, and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, Joe, AJ Styles, and Bryan Danielson was the finals of the tournament.
Spoiler alert.
You know, so yeah, I mean,
and we're definitely going to run down the TPI this year, which is again stacked. People, even wrestlers, were tweeting at me saying, "Man, this tournament is stacked." People were asking me, "How do I get my friend in TPI?" Matt Nix was getting his friends to hit me up and asking me if I could get him in TPI. Sorry, Matt Nix. I couldn't do anything but tell you to get votes.
And he's in the qualifying 6-man.
He's in the qualifying 6-man.
So, you know, you never know. Like, it's going to be awesome. First night alone, there are 14 matches already that are no doubt going to happen. 2
non-tournament and 12 tournament matches first round.
You know, IWA, notorious reputation, God only knows what else will happen on night 1 and end up happening.
You never know.
I'm sure there will be more than 14 matches.
I mean, I know we're kind of going into it a little bit, but Ian said he's opening the show with Andrew Everett and Prince Mustafa Ali, who are 2 of the best high flyers on the indies right now.
Yeah.
Andrew Everett, you know, former Chiva Kid, tore it up at National Pro Wrestling Day. I mean, that show made him a star, pretty much. I mean, no one knew who Chiva Kid was before that show, and that double moonsault made him a star.
Yeah, hands down. He was no doubt, like, being there live that day, he was the guy that, without a doubt, pulled off, you know, the most positive buzz.
There's a question somewhere: how did National Pro Wrestling Day come about for you? So we can talk. I mean, I watched it on iPay-per-view with Smart Mark.
Yeah, you watched it live, right?
I mean, my computer,
semi-live.
Yeah, my computer was kind of crappy at the time. It needed a real bad cleaning, so it kind of shut down a couple times, and the feed was kind of crappy. Since been fixed, smvod.com is running smoothly.
Yep.
It runs perfect iPay-per-views when the building's not a million degrees. But, I mean, you can talk about how the School of Rock Class Wars crew.
Yeah, essentially back when the Wrestling Is Network was, like, coming to formation.
I think there was only a couple. Wrestling Is Fun. And Wrestling Is Heart was going to start up.
Yeah, Wrestling Is Heart was going to start up, and that's pretty much what Class Wars is going to turn into. School of Rock Class Wars, we had ran just one show. It was the October show, 2 turntables and a wrestling ring. And we were going to become Wrestling Is Heart. So essentially myself, Heidi Lovelace, Trip Cassidy, and it was initially Matt Russo. We're going to be the 4 ambassadors. He canceled off, and we ended up taking Devin Bliss.
But no one knew of the cancellation. So everywhere, if you look up results from National Pro Wrestling Day, it will say that the league defeated Heidi Lovelace and Matt Russo.
Yeah, he was not in Pennsylvania that day. But yeah, no one had relayed it to, like, anyone at all. So we were like, you know, almost, this was, you know, an hour before we're going to the ring before anyone realized, oh man, this is a different kid. Devin Bliss, who was still training at the time. I don't know, has that classic officially graduated yet?
I mean, him and
they did, right?
Yeah.
It was the end of it was the end of last year.
It was the beginning of this year.
Yeah, because National Pro Wrestling Day was what, February?
Yeah,
February. So they have since graduated, but at the time he was still like getting polished. He came pretty much out of the backyard, and he was getting like trained up. Him and Chris Castle, they can do some like really impressive flips and stuff. You can see them on the Wrestling Is shows. But yeah, we were pretty much selected to be the ambassadors to represent Wrestling Is Heart. The match was me and Trip Cassidy versus Heidi and Devin Bliss. And it was really fun. National Pro Wrestling Day was awesome for me. It was a good trip, good experience. I met a lot of cool people. I got to meet Reckless Youth. He was like hanging around that day.
First time on the East Coast.
Yeah, first time on the East Coast wrestling. First time actually getting to wrestle while there. I'd been there a to do some like pre-shoots for the Wrestling Is stuff, photo shoot and stuff like that. So it was really fun. It was a really genuinely good experience. It was a day. There was drama, as there is with anything involving pro wrestling.
If you can see the story, you can read the story somewhere on the internet about, there's a match added later, and all this crap. Everyone's heard the story, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, for me personally, I had, nothing but good things to say about it. I got to meet a lot of awesome people. And the match, honestly, in my opinion, was like one of the better tag matches that me and Tripp got to be involved in.
Right.
It was awesome. Like, you always hear people talk about wrestling in front of a Philadelphia crowd. And
they're ruthless. They're crazy.
Yeah, they were. They were electric. They were really excited. The venue, it was an armory, and it's one of those perfect wrestling buildings.
Right.
Like, especially if you like jam a crowd in there, it's great. Like,
and the crazy thing about that is, besides parking, it was free admission.
Yeah.
Which is mind blowing in 2013. I mean, I think parking was what, $10?
I think, yeah, and that was and that was it. Otherwise you got to come in and see.
You could literally pay $10 for nothing if you wanted to.
Yeah.
If you didn't leave if your car didn't leave the parking lot, you could have paid $10 and
saw two straight shows. And as far as I know, it's happening again in 2014. It's supposed to. It's scheduled to happen. So that was when Class Wars became Wrestling Is Heart and all that jazz. And Class Wars died a terrible death. So it was right, when all that stuff happened. National Pro Wrestling Day was very much fun. Definitely a good experience for me. In the same note, getting back to what we were talking about with death matches with King of the Death, we kind of got away from it. You had a question also from Lane Smith _ that was what was King of the Death matches 03 like for you that whole weekend?
That weekend was crazy because it was the East Coast bus trip, and you had fans from the East Coast, from CZW, coming to support their guys against IWA. It's when CZW and IWA were kind of feuding at the time.
Yeah.
Nick Gage was in, yada yada. Homicide came in. I don't know if he was really CZW. Sanjay came in. Messiah came in, who was like the world champion.
Yeah.
Messiah and Ian had fans bring the thumbtacks deathmatch, which resulted in like 10,000 thumbtacks.
Literally.
Like, if you see the video, you can't see the canvas at all because it's just covered in tacks from the fans on the East Coast to bring in. They wanted to show that they were going to bring the most thumbtacks, and they absolutely did. Plus, you had guys like Balls Mahoney, Axel, Horace the Psychopath. Jerry Lynn was in doing non-tournament. I think Nigel was there. Matt Stryker, not Unibrow, the other one, the teacher. He was there. Wrestled Brad Bradley. Just a lot of crazy matches. Funny story. Right before the show starts, I'm getting all my music queued up. I turn on my soundboard and a fuse blows and all the lights go out in the building. And I'm just sitting there like, without a second delay, Ian comes running out of the locker room, goes to the fuse box, flips it, and we're back and running. And I mean, those two shows were like the last two shows they had in that building with like a packed house. And stuff happened. They were supposed to have a couple more weekend shows there. Stuff happened,
What building was that?
Clarksville, right over the bridge.
Oh, was that that was Clarksville building, right? Yeah.
And he had a big show book. Landlord didn't want to wait for payment of the rent.
Yeah.
So he locked the doors. So King of the Death match was like kind of our big hoorah on big shows because there had been like weekly shows after King of the Death matches.
Yeah.
And the funny story
it was the last weekly show where the building just got like destroyed, right?
No,
that was the other.
That was in Charlestown.
Yeah, that was the. No, I thought the one in Clarksville building got like torn down, like the with the locker rooms and everything.
No, what had happened was myself, Jim Fannin, our friend Shayna, who Jim was dating at the time, my friend Danny, IWA Security, and his kids went over there to set up the chairs. and we were gonna just play around in the ring and tape pretty much backyard in the ring. Do a ring rental for free, pretty much. All we had to do was clean up the show previous mess, and put up chairs and make it look nice for the show on that Saturday. That was on a day that I had school, because the next day, after bumming around in the ring, I did not want to walk up the stairs at school, and actually went to school. But that was actually we were the last people in the IWA building that were in the ring that wrestled, so we shut down the IWA building because, we were the last people in there.
Yeah. And that was the Clarksville one?
That was the Clarksville one, right over the bridge, the 2nd Street Bridge. Yeah.
Which building was it that Punk and Hero went balls out in?
That was the Charlestown building.
That was Charlestown?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last show there, they were trying to pull the... Punk said on his DVD he's trying to pull the rafters now. And they went through all the drywall. I mean, that building was falling apart anyway, but they went through all the drywall and stuff like that.
And that was due to improper fire codes.
And we ran shows outside of Charlestown for a long time to raise money for fire doors. We put the doors in, and people were still calling the zoning board, oh, they're doing this and this and this. And then, they finally got them pretty much, and screwed them out of that building after putting in, these fire doors that cost like $10,000.
Yeah.
That building, got kicked out.
Yeah. Unfortunate, because there was like a lot of super good wrestling history in that building. So it does still stand to this day.
Yeah.
But
and there's nothing in there's tractors. Right.
Next on the list of, right after that question, I think we're both going to be on the same page for this one, is a F, Marry, Kill submitted to us
from GK, Chris Ayers.
Yes, from GK, Chris Ayers.
GK Sold Out.
All of these people in their modern day states, Sonny, Missy Hyatt, and Linda Hogan for... intercourse, marry, kill.
Right.
I, as soon as I saw this tweet, immediately knew mine.
I think we were right on the same.
Yeah, I would definitely have intercourse, as it's known, with Sonny, hands down.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
She was the most downloaded woman in AOL, and who hasn't?
Yeah, hands down, I don't care what happens. She'll always be, she'll always be Sunny. She's the
click chick.
Yeah, sultry fox. Marry Linda Hogan for all that crazy divorce money. And, I'm sorry, Missy Hyatt, you would have to be the one.
Speaking of crazy, you'd have to kill Missy Hyatt.
Yes, that would be my fuck, marry, kill.
And that's exactly what mine would be. Because, I obviously grew up on Sunny. Linda Hogan obviously has all the money, and Missy Hyatt's just crazy. There's a story about her on a CM Punk shoot interview where she's crazy with Post-it notes or something. She had Post-it notes everywhere.
Yeah, not crazy with foam fingers as Miley Cyrus was.
Miley Cyrus. We were told not to talk about that, but let's talk about the VMAs a little bit to make it that's more current events,
world friendly, not just you wrestling fans, so anyone can join in. Man, watching it live, it was cunt to the wall because she was going crazy. I mean, I was entertained, that's what it was for.
Beetlejuice liked it.
Yeah, Beetlejuice liked it. He was there, in full suit outfit. I was so angry that Blurred Lines did not win all the awards because this was the VMAs, the Video Music Awards. And that is the best music video of all time, folks, if you've not seen it.
Well, the uncensored one is.
The uncensored version.
The censored one's not as good.
Yeah, but the brunette in that video, apparently Marcus Crane's cousin is in some form of business, and his stylist or designer, whoever it is, knows that girl. So if you somehow, through the grapevine, through Marcus Crane, of all people, hear this brunette girl from Blurred Lines video, I'm here.
I'm sure that's how she likes to be addressed. Hey, brunette girl from that music video, come be with me.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I was angry that Blurred Lines didn't win because it's the best. The VMAs.
What else was on there? Kanye
Killed it. Blood on the Leaves was like it was my favorite song off of Yeezus. That and Bound to, so I'm glad that was the performance. He killed it.
I like the imagery in that where it was like he wasn't lit and like the background.
The background was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was like super cool. What else just happened on? I didn't see the Katy Perry thing. Was that cool? I heard she had like a boxing ring or something.
She's kind of going back to like old style Katy Perry. Like I'm playing Warped Tour and I'm like a punk girl Katy Perry. So like the video she was putting out, like there was a coffin that had her little candy bra spinners on it. Like she's kind of killing off. Yeah, she's killing that gimmick.
Yeah, I had to get ready for work, so I didn't see that. What else? Oh, fucking NSYNC, man.
Yeah, JT and NSYNC.
I mean, it was like 15 seconds, but
still, like,
how awesome was that?
Until JC Chazé tried to upstage Justin Timberlake right at the end and get the last note, and then JT was, surprise, motherfucker, I've got 2 more songs.
Right.
Ryan Gosling, like, thanks to Tumblr, of course, I saw Ryan Gosling going balls to the wall down in the front when they were doing the Bye 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 dance, and perfectly in sync.
Everyone was going
crazy.
I made a joke that, they came up the stage and then they went back down.
Yeah.
And I said, NSYNC's gonna go under the stage and not be seen for another 10 years.
Yeah.
And someone got real mad. And then I also said they're gonna go eat the best buffet of fish heads that money can buy because none of them have regular work besides Justin Timberlake. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, Joey Fatone like hosts shows.
He's on on a game shows thing, and Lance Bass was like trying to go to space and stuff.
Yeah.
Chris Kirkpatrick was kind of pissed off because he took off his 8-hour shift at Olive Garden. And
just for that 15-second performance.
That's straight from Tumblr. We're not taking credit for that one.
But
I died at that.
Yeah, it absolutely killed me. What else was on there? What was it? I literally just had it in my head. NSYNC happened. Kanye West happened. Miley was crazy.
Lady Gaga had that crazy.
Yeah, Lady Gaga's butt. Lady Gaga, you're looking real good. Also, shout out to Lady Gaga.
I don't know if you know this, but One Direction won an award, and fans were like booing.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga was like, "What?" Like, there's a GIF, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
On Tumblr.
GIF.
She's like, "What are they booing? Are they booing them?" And someone's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm leaving. I'm disgusted." And she left the award show because they were booing One Direction.
Yeah.
Say what you want about One Direction. They're obviously doing something right. They're multi-billionaires, I'm sure.
They are clearly the John Cenas of the music world because,
right.
Everyone wants to hate on them, but they're at the top, so, you can't even. There was, I had a couple more things in my head, but I totally forgot, so, Marshall Mathers LP2 was announced, was like on a commercial. I hadn't seen the commercial before the VMAs.
I might have seen it before, but I don't recall.
I mean, it's not going to be the Marshall Mathers LP2. There's no way it can live up to that.
And Eminem's discography.
Yeah.
What would you put? What's your order?
Eminem Eminem's show aged really well. I really thought. I don't know, though. I mean, Marshall Mathers LP, I think it was so...
I think it's, Slim Shady LP, I just listened to some songs on Saturday, and I was like, man, this is... he was still so raw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, he wasn't, people hadn't come at him yet. On Marshall Mathers LP, he's like, so-and-so hates me, and blah, 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 and George Bush, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
On Slim Shady LP, he was just like, this is me.
It was just that raw, 8-mile emotion. It was my life fucking sucks.
Right.
And, Dr. Dre.
And it was and I don't know if it's just me thinking it, but, all the other CDs that he put out, it seemed like they were very, sound alike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely developed his after Slim Shady LP.
Slim Shady LP was My Name Is, Brain Damage.
Yeah.
Criminal. Role Model. It was all stuff that sounded so different, but it was still Eminem just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
After that, he definitely developed that very Eminem style.
Right.
He became more cartoony. Every album after that was gimmicky. It was sure.
Well, I gotta have a gimmicky single.
Yeah.
And then put out a serious song, and then maybe a song about my daughter. Or
something. And then an attack song. He had to go in on someone. You know, It was
Benzito and Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, speaking of going in these days of music, Kendrick Lamar on Control, just putting everybody on blast, which a lot of people were shitting on, but I think it was much more of like a, you all need to step your game up.
It was like a gentleman's duel where he smacked him in the face with a glove.
Yeah, it was like, come on, like, let's step it up, let's produce good music, which I was definitely a
because
fan
you
of.
never see, like, ever since, like, East Coast, West Coast, and, like, Nas and Jay-Z, you never see anything, like, crazy feud, like, or like 50 Cent and Ja Rule, but I mean, Ja Rule's in jail, so, like, who won that one?
Nothing that's public, at least, like, or nothing that is actually the content of your work based.
Right.
Like, there's, you know, rap beefs. Like, I think I can't remember what the website is that, like, is all about, like, hip-hop beef, like, covering it. But they're always, it's like personal issues.
It's like, you fucked my baby mama.
Yeah, or it's over, like, you know, gang violence and shit like that. Like, the actual, like, I think I rap better than you do. Like, there's not anything like that anymore, so I definitely like to see that. I've
kind of fallen out of it now. But, you know, for a while there, we were both big into, like, rap battles.
Yeah, like...
URL and...
URL Smack.
Yeah. There's, like, a new one called Scheme Street where that dude... Snowman. Mm-hmm. There's, like, this crazy dude named Snowman now who just, like, murders people.
What was is that the long-haired dude?
That's the long-haired dude.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy. We were also... Yeah, because it was back when SoulCon was getting, like, real big. So, like, we were, like... I mean, we're still fans of SoulCon, but like back when before he retired from battle rap, he was the dude who was just killing everybody.
Right.
Just like, even if you don't like rap music, if you like comedy, you can appreciate rap battles. Like, it's all about the show, the presentation. Like
if you have a funny voice and you serve somebody, people will laugh, and you might win over if.
Over some well-constructed like rhymes,
and if your bars are like this podcast where it's like
we could not be battle rappers at all. We are definitely sitting in the crowd on that one. Yeah, it's something where as far as like serving people, like you can pretty much say anything you want. Like battle rap is like. Battle rap is one of the few things where I've seen people get away with some very
talk about fucking kids.
Like really over the line
like
shit.
Just totally like absurd. Like, I'm gonna kill your mother and then pick her skeleton and
hats off to battle rappers for having thick skin and realizing that it's all a show.
And then they all like handshake afterwards.
Yeah,
like yo, that was dope.
I've never once seen like an end of a rap battle video where a dude just
not the good ones.
Yeah, not like
I'm
professional.
Sure there's like SHW rap battles.
Yeah, but not on like King of the Dot. Like you'll see dudes, you know, like shake hands and like they realize we're just out here talking shit about each other.
And the crazy thing is like dudes will be like riding partners or something.
Yeah.
And then battle and then they'll just go so hard on like so personal.
Like Dirtbag Dan and SoCon, you know.
Like talk about their grandma dying of cancer and you're not being there. There was one guy that was like, you wasn't at your brother's funeral because you were out here on a tryout or something, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, it's the realest of the real.
So what are we going to wrap this up with?
You want to... Pun intended or not? What are you going to wrap this up with? Don DeMarco.
Shout out to Emil J on Twitter. You can follow him at Guapo Emil J. He's a good battle rap. He's a big battle rap fan, and he's a good dude. Team best dude. I guess we can talk about Tecmo Wrestling from, I think I'm saying this correctly, Tariq Davis at TRK485. Tariq.
Tariqery? Trim Davis?
I think it's Tariq.
Tariq?
He wants us to talk about Tecmo Wrestling for the Nintendo. Did you ever play that?
I did. I think I still have my copy
I still have a copy of it as well. Yeah. I don't have a Nintendo, but...
Yeah, it's one of those games where I have, like, I don't know, I'm a huge pack rat, and, like, you've obviously seen my ridiculous, like, collection of retro gaming stuff.
Right.
But, like, in the thousands of times that I've moved in my life, I think it might have been one of those, like, games that got, out of the case. Right. Like, I still have the case that says Tecmo Wrestling, but I don't have the actual game, I don't think.
The first wrestling game I ever had for Nintendo was WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then, tag team wrestling, pro wrestling, stuff like that. And you're just like, man, these games kind of suck.
Natsume Pro Wrestling was like...
I might have had that one, too.
It was very, like, Street Fighter-esque.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was a wrestling game, but dudes looked like Zangief and shit. Like, it was...
Right. But I don't even know how I got Tecmo Wrestling. I probably just saw it on the shelf at, like, a pawn shop or something and was like, oh, wrestling, I'm going to buy this.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that blew my mind when I put it in.
Yeah.
Or, wait, I might be thinking of a different game.
Are you not thinking Tecmo? What else was there? What else was there on NES?
Tecmo? Did Tecmo have the cut screens?
I think so. Yeah.
And like the back brain kick and stuff like
that.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking like for some reason when I said Tecmo, I was thinking like their crappy football game and how it was like
Yeah.
So I was thinking like their wrestling game would be like that, but I don't know.
We might literally be the same person and be thinking of. I mean. If you really want to know anything 100% factual, without a doubt, about pro wrestling games, Joe Gagney's Funtime Arcade is the spot to go.
He's done shows on every wrestling game that there is. He's done shows on them. But is he out already? Is he out of like he's still
ones to go through?
He's still doing stuff for like Atari and stuff.
Okay,
like
I was
that.
gonna say
he just did one for I don't know like. ColecoVision? I don't know.
We're literally probably the worst podcasters you listen to.
We're not video game podcasters. I mean, you can find that somewhere else.
Well, I was just going to say in general, we're the worst podcasters because we go off on such tangents.
Right.
We talk about so much and just get way off subject.
Right. But let's talk about Tecmo Wrestling. If it's the game we think it is.
Yeah.
If it's not, we think it's the same game.
Yeah, so we're on the same page. Like, ridiculous gameplay for the time.
Fake Tiger Mask was on that game?
Fake Tiger Mask.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Crazy gameplay. Crazy moves on that game.
Yeah, you gotta think this is NES, so...
It was like, I want to say...
89?
Yeah,
90?
it came out, it was late 80s for sure.
So, I mean, like, this is...
Fake Inoki on the game.
Yeah.
Fake, Inoki.
Yeah, fake Inoki.
What else was on there? There was like a mode where you could work out to like build your strength up.
Yeah. It wasn't just like a wrestling game. It was one of the first like attempts at like an all around like.
Right. It wasn't like
build your character.
Right. It wasn't like WrestleMania where it was like kick, punch, body slam.
Yeah.
And pieces of meat flying on the screen or whatever. It was like an actual. There was a commentator. There was a referee. Yeah. There was German suplexes, back brain kicks, power bombs, pile drivers.
Yeah, and didn't the ref have the little, like, he would have, like, thought bubbles and shit? Like, not even thought bubbles, but,
like, count bubbles?
Yeah,
and the commentary. There's commentary at the bottom.
Yeah. Too. So, we are...
If that's not the game...
Yeah, if that's not the game... Whenever you guys listen to this, respond to us and let us know what game we're thinking of.
Because we're on the same page.
Yes, we're comfortable with it. But if you want to, like, tweet at us and tell us how stupid we are.
Actually, after we get done recording, we'll go to youtube.com/Mike and Tom Present.
Yeah.
Which is where you can find all the Joe Gagney Funtime Arcade. If you don't follow them or watch those videos, you're fucking up, honestly.
Yeah, they're really interesting.
If you want to know anything about retro gaming, about any wrestling game that you know of, he's probably done a video about it.
Yeah,
WrestleFest.
If you want to compliment the editing on the Funtime Arcades, that would be because of our good friend at WrestleFolks, Tom Green.
Yeah,
Tom edits all those videos and stuff.
He is the man.
Yeah. All around.
I think we're going to wrap it up here. We do have a couple questions that we didn't get to. We're already at an hour and 4 here, so there are a couple of questions.
Yeah, let's knock like a last couple out and kind of we always go like 1:15.
Some of these are kind of like best feud and storyline we've seen live, so those are like stuff that it would take way too long. I mean, Road Food, Mauve, I don't know the numbers at the end.
Well, as far as road food goes, I guess the one good story I could tell would be 2 Cookie Dough. On the way to taking Chris Hero to a seminar for the School of Rock, he was staying in Louisville, so I was, of course, going to go up and partake. Myself, Nick Maniwa, Jess Beesneys, we went and picked Hero up, and we're driving to the School of Rock, and Hero wanted to get food before the seminar, and we had settled on Subway. You know, something good and healthy and normal to eat before you go and work out in the heat.
I think he was also looking for Chick-fil-A as well.
Yeah, and then this was pre We Hate Gays Chick-fil-A, back when I still consumed their food.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Hero saw Culver's, and he was like, "Oh, well, we got to get Culver's. That's what we got to do." And rather than getting something regular, getting like a chicken sandwich, this was way before I had any self-control. I got
or in any type of shape.
Yeah, I got a like prime rib sandwich or something like that, and then we both got concrete mixers, which are like blizzards, and like I'm ordering, and I'm like, yeah, he wants blah blah blah, and then on my order I want this prime rib sandwich and a cookie dough concrete mixer, and she's like, 2 cookie dough? No, just the sandwich and one cookie dough mixer. Okay, so you want the sandwich and then two cookie dough, and I'm no, 1 sandwich, 1 concrete mixer, 1 mixer with cookie dough in it. However much is a serving, just 1 ice cream, and we end up getting up there. We get our food. It was, of course, like there was an extra one. Like
there was 2 cookie dough mixes.
Yeah, there were in fact 2 cookie dough. We ingested all this food, went and worked out in the School of Rock, which is in a like storage unit, essentially. No heat, no air conditioning, in the dead of, July? July?
It was like probably like June.
And it was ridiculous. Had to be at least 100 in there. And I'm not the type, I don't throw up. Like, I'm not the type of person that regurgitates anything. Cause
vomit-free since 93.
Yeah, vomit-free since 93. And I went outside and I did not throw up, but I felt so terrible. I felt like I literally had like a ball of super glue in my stomach. This food was
and
just
this is the guy that he looked up to.
Yeah, this was me just absolutely, marking out, getting to sit there and pick Chris Hero's brain for 3 hours.
We had already done going up.
And now it comes to, all right, let me get in the ring and show him, what I can do. And then, an hour in, I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I go outside and I forced myself to throw up so I would stop feeling bad. And all over the side of the storage unit. And Hero comes outside and tells me a story about when him and Claudio were training with the Villanos. And he got, like, food poisoning, and he had to sit out, and, like, Claudio got to do all this cool shit with them. So, like, it made me feel way better. Like, he's definitely Chris Hero, no matter what anybody says about him, is and will always be team best dude for me and Nick Maniwa.
And then we we got to pick his brain later.
Yeah, like...
Even pitching in for gas, which he didn't need to do.
At all, yeah. We talked about the, what's the dude's name? Chicago dude who does the viral videos. We talked about the hit the bitch with a mystic.
Mr.
Shy City.
Yeah.
We talked about his viral videos, and we watched one. Yeah, hit the bitch with a mystic. So it was
with a freeze pop.
Oh no, wait, no! Give the girl a mystic and hit the little kid with a freeze pop. Yeah, that's what it was. So that was the best road food. I mean, like you said, there's a million more we could tell. Shitty hotels, we've seen thousands of them. I've stayed at places without breakfast, which is incredulous. Designated drivers, me and you. Well, I'm always designated driver. I don't drink. You don't drive, Nicholas Maniwa.
Right.
Jess Beesneys is.
She drinks on occasion, but usually Jess Beesneys was the only reason we got home alive.
Yeah, because
on so many of those trips, especially the Chaos Pro. Ron Trauma, I love you, but Metropolis is like 5 hours away from us.
It's like the Bermuda of the Midwest, man. It's just out there.
And then you go out to eat with guys because you want to hang out. You want to be with the dudes. You want to hang out with Zach Sawyer.
And then you want to hang out with Zach Sawyers for whatever reason, who just sent me a picture of his latest bowel movement, which was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
And like you realize, you're like, okay, yeah, it's like 1 a.m. We should probably get on the road.
And we lose an hour going home.
So like then it's 2 a.m. where we live. We're 5 hours away. We don't get back until like normal people are starting their day.
Right. And then when you have to like die.
And I've just like wrestled. This was at the time when I was working like 60-hour weeks at like a manufacturing plant. So like I would die after having worked all that, wrestled and everything else. I would get in the car, pass out, and thank God Jess has never, to my knowledge, ever once even drifted off like driving home. Versus like me, who has I fell asleep on the way to work one morning, went off the road, crashed my car, and almost died. I'm narcoleptic, and she's just like, so Jess Beesney pulls through in the driving department.
I think we want to do quick shout-outs to the people. Oh, we can... What are we at? We're at 110. I think we got 5 minutes of Kentucky State title Dark Priest.
Okay,
for our good friend Charlie Thomas of the
then
Lock family.
We'll run our shout-outs
right.
real quick. That's pretty much everything else, I think.
We missed the feud, the best and worst gimmick that we would ever seen.
We might do like a write-up thing. Like we might put both of ours like on text for that, because that's something really long. Like that goes back in all of our wrestling history. Like, I mean, honestly, as far as conclusion to a feud storyline that we didn't like, or best feud and storyline that we've seen played out.
For a quick answer, any feud that like I hate you. You're my opponent. I want to see you bleed. And then like a month later, you're feuding with someone else, and then you're like tagging with them, which like sometimes happens on like WWE and stuff. It's just like Randy Orton and Triple H were best friends, and like Randy Orton tried to kill Stephanie McMahon like a couple of years ago or some shit. And like I know they've kind of made the story like, we've never seen eye to eye and yada 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 and stuff like that, but it's still like, really, bro? Like if you tried to like kill my wife, I'm never gonna be your friend ever.
I mean, whatever. I've tried to kill Jess on multiple occasions.
She's not my wife yet.
Not yet. But yeah, which was, side note, it was kind of cool, at least for me, to see all that come like full circle. If you think like 10 years ago, Evolution was going on, and now like they're Jess Beesney's is just absolutely just giving me some death look right now.
I thought you were about to talk nice about us.
No, she thought that I was going to say 10 years ago something nice about them, which no, nothing nice about 10 years ago.
We didn't even know each other 10 years ago.
They weren't even real people to me yet. They didn't exist. But yeah, that's pretty much. This other question kind of combines with, I'm going to talk about the Kentucky State title and Dark Priest real quick. The best, worst gimmick that we've ever seen or that I've wrestled against. Honestly, that is different. I wrestled for Bobo Brazil Jr. in Austin, Indiana. He used to run these terrible shows in this dilapidated building that was literally falling apart, and the locker room was upstairs with like
they had,
holes in the floor. Like you could fall through the locker room.
The bathroom had an awesome painting. Do you remember the painting in the bathroom? I think you like took a picture of it and tagged me on Facebook or something.
Oh no, that was in a gas station on the way back from Austin.
Okay.
They did have and it was like the open area where the concessions were in this building was awesome. There was pay-per-view posters and figures, but then the actual arena was terrible. I wrestled a guy who was legitimately in his 70s. He had to have been maybe 75 years old. Dressed up in a bee costume. Not like I'm a killer bee, from the Fed.
Right.
But literally like a bee costume that someone would wear at Halloween.
Right.
And could do nothing. Like he came in.
Who was this?
I don't remember his name. Like he was just.
This is not on your official results, because this is the first I've ever heard of this match.
This was like one of those random Austin shows, like MCIW is what the place was called.
You can find their YouTube online if you just search for MCIW.
Yeah, and you might see B-Man on there. And he was just, I thought he was going to die. Like he was shaking, like going to lock up, and like his punches were like, swatting at a fly. Like there was literally nothing I could do with him. And he kept messing stuff up. So at one point I just got angry and cut him off and hit him real hard. And we ended the match. Like I pulled him on top of me and just had him pin me, I think is what the finish was, because I was done.
Wow.
And but yeah, that was the worst thing that I've ever had to wrestle against. As far as bad gimmicks go, there's a million at LCW. I was the inaugural Live Wire Championship Wrestling Kentucky State champion.
You won it in a match with no tournament. It was just two guys against each other.
Yeah, we had qualified. Via...
In Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, we qualified in Rio. Technically, they had been running shows, like I mentioned, I think on the last one, they had been running backyard shows. So this is technically a title that had been defended.
Oh, okay.
Well before I was involved. But I was the first official champion. The guy that reffed the match, Little Man, who's terrible, wanted to let me know before the match that title had a heck of a history on it. and that he was, a 3-time Kentucky State champion.
Well, hot damn.
Yeah, he had been relegated to referee duties
He
at
lost.
that point.
He lost the title and his old lady.
Yeah, to J. Rush. God bless. And it was just, like he said, there was literally no build. I guess we qualified in our secret Sunday practices,
In the Fight Club.
Yeah.
At the LCW bunker.
And it was a match that happened.
You won the title.
I wore a T-shirt when I wrestled.
We'll go in depth because there is a full critique of the match.
Did you find it?
It's the first Facebook message I've ever sent you.
Oh, fantastic!
It's all the way down, and it's all the way the first one ever. It's all the way in the archive, so I'll have to search for it. But we'll go more into detail on it. But the one funny, I had never met Reed Bentley before that show. I only knew Cage Cutler was like, "Hey, my buddy's gonna be on the show. His name's Reed Bentley." So I knew like, oh, this guy might know something if he's hanging out with Cage Cutler, because at that time Cage Cutler was like the vet of LCW.
Mm-hmm.
He
had wrestled for like 2 years and then took off like 3 years.
And he had a clue at least.
Yeah.
Reed Bentley wins the belt with brass knuckles.
Yeah, we did Macho Man finish. Like I'm getting back suplexed into the ring, pop him, crossbody on.
Grabs the belt. He's going out of the arena, and a plate falls off the belt. I don't know if you remember that.
No, it wasn't as I was exiting. It was the next month. I was coming into the ring with my belt.
Oh, is that what it was?
And
I think it was at the first show.
It was the first show, but it was in the beginning of the match.
Oh.
I held the belt up, and I was smacking it. Like I took the belt from the ref.
Like I'm gonna be the champ.
Put it on it. I was smacking the belt, and the plate popped off.
Yeah, right. Not a big plate, just a little mini.
It was like a Velcro circle that
right.
they put some
right.
some funfetti on. Like this belt was like
sparkle glue.
Yeah, legitimately. He's not kidding. Glitter glue. Like it was, all stuff you could find in the arts and crafts department of Walmart. So it was,
which half the LCW guys worked at. So
yeah, which half of them were Walmart employees.
Someone informed me that we buried everyone on the last show. That's what they heard. Someone had told them that. We're not burying anything that people don't already know.
Yeah, we're not burying anything. Like as far as people go, like a lot of the dudes from LCW, there's some of them that I like that I'm still friends with. Like they're nice guys. But you know what, Nick Maniwa? My neighbor's a nice guy. Doesn't mean he belongs in the wrestling business.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. That is a quote from Chris Benoit, in case anyone does not know that. He's something he once said to Matt Hardy, I believe it was.
Speaking of Matt Hardy, Dark Priest. Do you have it?
Amazing segue. Dark Priest is another guy, like super cool dude. His name's Doug. He's
breaking the K5.
He's a nice dude. I saw him like maybe 8 months ago, like in Clarksville Walmart randomly. Just some of these guys, like they don't know what they're doing wrestling wise. Like it's just they don't need to be wrestling. But I like a lot of them as people. There's some of them I don't like as people or wrestlers. Some of them are terrible.
And just like them, you started
at the bottom. Now I'm slightly above it.
You went. I got you out of that, which we'll get into much later.
Yeah.
I got you out of that. Got you into Wolfpack Championship Wrestling.
Oh man, thank you.
And then you furthered your training, got better.
Yeah.
And you're working.
It's what you have to do. Like if you want to make it in wrestling, like that's what everyone has to do. Like any of those dudes, well, not any of them. Some like Pat Cross, like we mentioned on the last episode, is a guy who, if he wanted to get out, dedicate himself, apply himself, work on getting better, he could. And not getting
in better shape. His shape is fine.
Oh yeah, his shape is totally fine.
No matter what he says.
Yeah, he's told us that he wants to get in shape and then he'll make a run at it. If I would have waited to get in shape before I did anything in wrestling, I still wouldn't be doing anything right now because I'm still really not in that great of shape. But like it's just a matter of getting out, and that's like he said. Like I just went out and I decided that I wanted to not be terrible. I went anywhere that would let me in a ring. We went to HWA, IPW. Like you said, we'll get into the full history of how I've made it to where I am right now.
I think let's save that for after TPI.
We'll do that after the TPI
because TPI is going to be huge. I think we're going to wrap it up. We've already gone. It's like a minute or an hour and 20.
I think this might be the longest one yet.
Yeah, definitely. But some people like them long. Sack Daddy.
Yeah, Sack Daddy. Anthony Eves keeps...
Said he doesn't want them to ever end.
Yeah, he says...
He uses these for his workouts. He never wants them to end because then he has to do something else. He has to listen to something else. But I want to send shout-outs to everyone that sent questions. Lane Smith, Mikey King, Tariq Davis, Charlie Thomas, Meg, Becca. We kind of got Lucha Librarian at Lucha Librarian. We kind of got to your question, but we'll do that one again.
And she's also the one that made our stick figure Bentley and Maniwa variety show drawing.
That was awesome. Big Sweaty Mike at Michael Virgin 2 on Twitter. He asked the I think. Well, we didn't get into it because it's a TPI question. Fun TPI stories, which we'll get into.
He is the one that told us to not talk about Miley Cyrus.
Which we did. We didn't get into Jason Saint's question either. You can follow him at Jason F. and Saint. He asked, what are the most irritating fans and fan interactions we've had, which having been to...
We'll get into that with the gun story.
Having been to the only, whatever that was.
Oh, God.
We've been around some irritating fans.
Yeah, what was it? It was not like a Knights of Columbus type thing?
Like a VFW or...
Yeah.
something like that.
Terrible.
You can also check his Tumblr out at Jason